Welcome to Coaching for Creatives with Kirsten. My name is Kirsti Call. I'm a therapist-trained life coach and a children's book author. Together, we'll get the drama out of our lives and onto the page. Let's get started. You are listening to Episode 55, Dauntlessness. When I was 10 years old, I lived in Alameda, California. I'd never really taken a bus before, not even a school bus, because I rode my bike to school. One day, I convinced my parents to let me take the city bus home. A friend of mine came with me, and we were feeling so adult when we got on the bus. I remember being so excited. We walked to the back, and we were giddy, just giddy with excitement. After a while, I noticed the streets were not familiar when I looked out the window. We seemed to be going into Oakland, not onto Bay Farm Island, which is where I lived. I watched out the window with trepidation. The bus driver announced the last stop, and my friend and I realized we were definitely nowhere near home. We got off the bus, walked to the curb. We were definitely in Oakland. People swarmed all around us. Homeless people begged us for money, and fear, it just surged right through me. I was in a city, far away from home, and of course we didn't have cell phones back then. I immediately thought of finding a payphone to call my mom. Unfortunately, I didn't have any money, not even a quarter for the payphone. My heart pounded as I took a deep breath. I didn't have a choice. I had to be brave. I remember telling my friend, well, this is the time to pray. Although my friend wasn't religious, she agreed it was our only option. We folded our arms, bowed our heads, and I offered up a pleading prayer. I asked God to help me find a quarter. I pled with him to keep us safe. As soon as I finished my prayer, I lifted my eyes to the curb, where a glint of silver winked at me. I ran to the curb, filled with wonder. My prayer was answered. I had a quarter. My fear was replaced with dauntlessness and faith. I knew God cared about me, a little 10-year-old girl. And that knowledge helped me be brave and dauntless. Even before the Divergent series by Veronica Roth came out, I loved the word dauntless. I might actually say the word dauntless in almost every episode of this podcast. Synonyms like brave, courageous, fearless, indomitable, plucky, steely, intrepid, they just don't feel quite the same for me. Dauntlessness is the epitome of empowerment and self-actualization. It's what I hope to be someday. It's what I strive for, what I hope to help my clients come to, and my children. We all walk around with a lot of fear in our lives. We're afraid of failure and worthlessness. We're afraid of rejection and not being good enough. We're even afraid of fear itself. What I want for myself and everyone else is to be able to move forward despite the fear, to face every situation with courage and grace. So, here's a question I like to ask myself. What would I do if I weren't afraid? The answer to this question is quite enlightening. If I weren't afraid, I wouldn't hesitate to take risks, hit submit, network, offer help. My son just went to his first dance. At age 13, it's tough to be the boy or the girl. We challenged him to ask 3 girls to dance. As a shy girl myself, I always hoped a cute boy would ask me to dance. After an hour and a half of convincing himself to be brave, he did ask 3 girls to dance, and someone even asked him to dance. It ended up being a lovely experience for him once he did what he would do if he weren't afraid. So, let's talk about what we can do to become more dauntless. Number 1, again, ask yourself the question, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And if your answer is something that will propel you towards fulfilling your dreams and goals, do it. Number 2, ask yourself, what does my fear have to teach me? Sometimes there are really good reasons to be afraid, like if you're in physical or emotional danger. And even if our fear seems silly, we can learn something from our fear. Fear is an opportunity to learn about yourself. How will you respond to this fear? What will this fear lead to? Will you run and hide, or will you face it? Number 3, ask yourself, is fear holding me back? Is fear keeping you stuck in the normal momentum of life? Number 4, be curious. Why are you afraid of this circumstance or experience or person? What's behind this fear? And again, don't judge, just be curious. When we judge ourselves for feeling fear or any emotion for that matter, it just compounds the problem. Number 5, allow yourself to feel afraid. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear. It's what you do with the fear that matters. Perhaps do the 90-second feelings where you set a timer for 90 seconds and really just allow yourself to feel that fear. Do you feel it in your head, your throat, your chest, your hands, your stomach? What does it feel like? What color is your fear? Does it have a shape? Really delve into the feeling and pay attention to it. Then, as it dissipates, step into your dauntlessness. It's a great skill to be able to feel fear and act anyway. Number 6, practice dauntlessness. This means notice when you're letting your fear make your choices for you. Stop that cycle and practice bravery. Every time you do something that feels scary, you're being dauntless. Do things that make you uncomfortable over and over again. This is called exposure therapy, where you do things that make you anxious despite your anxiety. So if you're afraid of speaking in front of people, find opportunities to present. Get outside of your comfort zone. Allow yourself to feel the fear, and then do that thing anyway. Number 7, embrace failure. The more failure you experience, the less you will fear it. Number 8, note the evidence. You have survived your fear 100% of the time up until now. Remember that. Number 9, reframe your thinking. I'll never forget when I learned that the physiological responses to fear and excitement are basically the same. So right before a performance and my stomach flutters or my heart palpitates, I tell myself, I'm excited. This is excitement. It's actually an incredible shift of perspective. Number 10, remember it's not about you. One of my children got a big part in the middle school musical and was super apprehensive about their ability to memorize the lines, figure it all out, do it perfectly. I gave this child one of my mom pep talks. This isn't about you. It's not about how well you do or what you look like or if you feel foolish. It's about sharing your talents in a way that makes people feel loved. It's about connection and making someone laugh when they're having a hard day. Reminding myself that it's not about me right before I teach or speak is a beautiful way to help me be dauntless. So, as you infuse dauntlessness into every step of your journey, remember, fear is a state of mind, not a fact. You are not your fear, and dauntlessness is yours for the taking. Perhaps tell yourself, I am dauntless in moments of trepidation, because you are. You have made it in life this far, and you only got this far because you are dauntless. Until next time, keep smiling. If you like what you've heard, check out my Get Yourself Unstuck program. Go to KirstiCall.com. That's KirstineCall.com and schedule a free consultation today. Coaching for Creatives is produced by Kirsti Call. Music and audio engineering by James Call.